acclaim. It's a satirical take on the dark world of racial and economic oppression and speaks truth to power on challenging systems and structures that oppress us. Our stories are powerful, and voices that speak up to challenge the status quo can break down any barrier. An independent theater screening of Sorry to Bother You in Utah inspired young activists to organize and form a union. But you know how management does. Management said, oh no, they can't form a union. They warned the workers not to form the union, and Boots heard about this and sent the workers a stirring video message. A message of inspiration and a message of hope. He said, you're seeing where your power lies and who that will inspire, not just theater workers, not just fast food workers or retail workers, workers all around. So what you're doing is very important. Keep going. The union became official in April, showing us all that even in right-to-work states, they cannot stop the mobilization of folks organizing to form a collective and form a union. With this, I introduce you to this brother in the struggle, Mr. Boots, the Coop Riley.
This is for my folkers who got bills overdue. This is for my folkers on check 1, 2. This is for my folkers never lived like a hog, me and you, toe to toe. I got love for the underdog. This is for my folkers who got bills overdue. This is for my folkers on check 1, 2. This is for my folkers never lived like a hog, me and you, toe to toe. I got love for the underdog. I raise this glass for the ones who die meaninglessly, and the newborns who get fed intravenously. Somebody's mama caught a job and a welfare fraud case. When she sleeps, she swear it feel like plastic wrap around her face. Lights turned off. This the third month the rent is late. Thoughts of being homeless, crying till you hyperventilate. Despair permeates the air and sets in your head. The kids play with that one toy they learned how to share. Coming home don't ever seem to be a celebration. Bills stay piled up on the coffee table like they decoration. Heaping spoons of peanut butter, big ass glass of water. Make the hunger subside. Save the real food for your daughter. You feel like swinging haymakers at a moving truck. You feel like laughing so it seems like you don't give a fuck. You feel like getting so high you smoke the whole damn crop. You feel like crying, but you think that you might never stop. Homes with no heat stiffen your joints like arthritis. If this was fiction, it'd be easier to write this. Some folks try to front like they so above you. They tear this motherfucker up if they really loved you. This is for my folkers who got bills overdue. This is for my folkers on check 1, 2. This is for my folkers never lived like a hog, me and you, toe to toe. I got love for the underdog. There's certain tricks of the trade to try to halt your defeat. Like taking Tupperware to an all-you-can-eat, returning used shit for new, saying you lost your receipt, writing 4-figure checks when your accounts deplete. Then all your problems pile up about a mile up. Think about a partner you can dial up to help you out this vile stuff. Whole family sleeping on the futon while you clipping coupons, eating salad, trying to get full off the croutons. Cross-town, the situation is identical. Misconceptions. Cross-town, the situation is identical. Somebody getting strangled by the system and its tentacles. Misconceptions raise questions to be solved. A lot of dope boys is broke. A lot of homeless got jobs. You can make 8 bones an hour till you pass out. You make 15 bones an hour till you pass out and still be ass out. Most pyramid schemes don't let you cash out. They say this generation made the harmony break. But crime rise consistent with the poverty rate. You take the workers from jobs, you gon' have murders and mobs. A gang of preachers screaming sermons over murmurs and sobs, saying, pray for a change from the Lord above you. They tear this motherfucker up if they really loved you. This is for my folkers who got bills overdue. This is for my folkers on check 1, 2. This is for my folkers never lived like a hog. Me and you, toe to toe. I got love for the underdog. You like this song because it's relatable. It's you in a rhyme. We go to stores that only let us in 2 at a time. We live in places where it costs to get your check cashed. Arguments about money usually drown out the text blast. Work 6 days a week, can't sleep Saturdays though. Muscles trembling like a pager when the battery's low. You still don't know where the years went, although every single shift feel like a year spent. And you could write your resume, but it wouldn't even mention all the life lessons learned during 6 years of detention. And how you learn the police with just some handicappers on the ground next to broken glass and candy wrappers. So don't accept my collects on the phone. Just hit me back at the house so I know I ain't alone. We could chop it up about this messed up system. Homies that's been killed, how we always gonna miss them. It's almost impossible surviving on this fraction. Sip a 40 to the brain for the chemical reaction. You gotta hustle, cause they trying to push and shove you. I'll tear this motherfucker up, since I really love you. This is for my folkers who got bills overdue. This is for my folkers on check 1, 2. This is for my folkers, never lived like a hog. Me and you, toe to toe. I got love for the underdog. You know, right now, we're in a very special moment in history. You know, polls have come out saying 51% of millennials wish that this was a socialist system. And the Gallup poll came out saying 43% of people in the United States, in general, no matter the age, wish that this was a socialist system. We're seeing that movements of the past 10 years, Occupy movement that popped up in every city that there was. People saying under the idea that there's a power struggle going on, right? Then you have the Black Lives Matter movement happening, exposing exposing racist police murders. The big question on everybody's mind is, a lot of us know what's wrong. A lot of us know what kind of world we want to see. But how the fuck did we get there? Now, a lot of that question is there because so many movements of the past decades have obscured where power actually lies, right? A lot of times, you know, even the way the civil rights movement is taught, and the way even black power movements are taught is like, oh, people got out on the street, they voiced their outrage, and then the leaders, they decided to change, right? And that's how it's taught. Like, as a matter of fact, even with organizers, I've been in the middle of demonstrations where we brought 50,000 people out. A lot of them knew. They're like, okay, what do we do now? I'm like, raise your voice. Let your voice be heard. As a matter of fact, that's a lot of what's put out there, is let your voice be heard. Let it be known. And what we're doing is obscuring how power works under capitalism. Capitalism's main thrust, the main way that it works, is that it's through the exploitation of labor. All of y'all in here obviously know this. We don't say that though, right? A lot of us do not say that. And how do you get to that? So where is our power? Our power is in our ability to withhold our labor. That's where we get to have some say-so. Everybody knows that you could say this, and even folks on Republicans would agree that those with the money have the power. Now, some Republicans might be, those with the money should have the power, blah, blah, blah. You know, but we all know that. We all know that those with the money have the power, but we have power over them. And it's not just through not buying shit. It's not just through boycotting Nike. It's not just through not going to this store or whatever. It's through stopping their whole production. It's through withholding labor. And those stories don't get out there. Now, teachers are at the point where they are at the confluence of these two lines of telling stories and labor. And y'all have been very much out there at the forefront in people's minds of shutting shit down, right? And showing people not only are we going to teach history, but we're going to apply history, right? Too many people are learning the facts of what happened, but not knowing the facts of how to change it. And I would say that it's the teacher's job not just to show what happened, but to show how you as a student are going to change this. And we can't just do that by lecturing people. We have to do that by showing that in our lives. So this is a time when teachers organizing does triple and quadruple duty. Because not only are you showing the necessity of teachers, but you're showing that you know how power works, and you're showing people how to organize in their daily lives. And so when UTLA shut the city down, when Oakland teachers shut the city down, when teachers in West Virginia did a wildcat strike and shut things down, it not only made people understand teachers' value, but it made people understand their own value, right? We're doing a disservice if we only teach history and if we only teach history but not teach how to apply it. That's not only ahistorical, it's also unscientific. You got the information, you got to apply it. And this is why this is the moment when teachers stepping it up, showing not only how valuable but how radical you are, is going to have a large effect on society, right? And these effects will obviously ripple. You know, you don't have these candidates, campaigning under supposedly leftist ideas out of nowhere. It's because people like y'all have been shutting shit down. It's because movements have happened that show them that people aren't just having opinions, they're acting on it, right? And so then you have candidates being like, oh, well, maybe I need to show that I'm down with this too. That's not going to be enough. You know, whoever you get in office is not going to do it for you. What's going to do it for you is being able to stop the gears of capitalism. That's what's going to do it for you. And if ever there was a time when the community supports teachers going out on strike, it's now, right? People are down for it, and not only supportive, but looking to y'all for leadership. They're looking to y'all for leadership, not only as the moral leaders of the community, but the strategic leaders of the community. How are we going to fix this? Not only what's wrong, but how are we going to do it, right? And some of this is going to going to cause backlash. The media is never going to paint it as something that should happen. They're never going to paint worker struggles as something that should happen. They'll point out that it is happening. They'll find the one person in the crowd that says, well, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. That's always going to happen. However, y'all have networks. Those networks are right there at the school with the students. They're among each other. And that's how you get this story out. Because so much of what I do is about narrative. It's about telling a story. So much of what y'all do every day is telling a story. What's the overall story we're going to tell? What's this point in history right now? This point in history where people are looking to find their power. Where are y'all going to come in on this story? And I propose it's more of what y'all already have been doing. And it's expanding that. Imagine Ferguson happening, but every teacher in St. Louis and in the surrounding areas shut down the schools until the cop was indicted. Imagine schools shutting down in protest and to stop the illegal detention of children at the border. I mean, the impetus for the struggle that teachers have always engaged in, yes, it's been about wages, as it should be, and it's been about benefits, as it should be. But it's also intertwined with that question is, how much are we putting for education for children? That's the big question. It's always been an endeavor to help the community. There are ways to do this in which people see y'all shutting down things that help in ways that are protracted from the initial struggle that's put out there. And you will get support. There's already people supporting y'all. And you will help people find where that crux of power is. And that's very important. And right now is the time. There's a window happening right now. An example is this. Is when we had Occupy Oakland, a few of us decided, oh, this is before SEIU started doing it, we're going to do a fast food workers union. So we started passing out flyers, just side note, that thing got put to the side because other people in Occupy Oakland thought that it wasn't radical enough. But at a certain point, we were flyering all these fast food places with a lot of good reaction. But what would happen is funny because McDonald's and KFC wasn't ready for it. So we pass out these flyers, and a few times the managers at the McDonald's would be like, hey, this is what we need. We need this. One time he stopped work and said, we need something like this. And the reason for that is because McDonald's hadn't been prepared. They hadn't trained their managers yet on how to respond to this kind of organizing because they didn't see it coming. And that's what's happening right now. That's why there's this window right now where they don't understand how radical y'all are. They don't understand what y'all can bring to the table. And it's not time to wait and gauge how things are. We know how things are. We know that people in the U.S. are way more radical than they tell us they are. They're way more thirsty for a way out, for a way to change things. It's one thing for us we can apply this to all the things that we need to fight. It's one thing to show the history of racism and racism as it is, to show the history of the struggle against racism, and even to call it out. All of those things are important. However, us showing that we have leverage to shut shit down and change it. That's the most important thing in the discussion about racism, about white supremacy, or any of this stuff. Without us showing how we can change it, all we're doing is providing a mural on the wall while police kill folks, right? We're just providing, decoration. We have to apply our knowledge of how to change things. And I'm obviously, I know I'm preaching to the choir, because y'all have been at the forefront of things happening. But I think it's time to spread it out even more. And of course, we need to be talking about people getting paid enough, and so that they are not tired and not able to teach. But we also need to make these connections to the society at large. And any of these things that whether we're talking about charter schools, racism, sexism and patriarchy, those are things we need to talk about theoretically, but it all fades into the background unless we're doing this. And so it's my call to y'all to not only teach history, but make history, right? And from here, in each of y'all areas, there are struggles going on, and there are questions about how to deal with it. I'll say to you that your constituency is way more ready to fight than would seem if you listen to the media. And at any rate, we need to raise that contradiction. We need to put it out there, because if we're not doing it, it's not going to happen. We need to be the catalyst for this new era. And I'm glad y'all are here to figure that out. The thing is after this conference is over, what plans are y'all leaving with? What plans are y'all leaving with to engage in actual campaigns? Who's going to make the call? Who's going to talk to so-and-so? Right? Those are the things that we need, is some concrete campaigns, some things, and some ways to amplify this. I'll tell you what, I just heard about a lot of things going on with teachers last night, and I'm somebody that looks for that. A lot of people don't know what's going on. A lot of people don't know that West Virginia teachers shut down the state. A lot of people don't know that UTLA shut down LA. They just don't.
They should.
They should. But that's also part of what needs to happen. We have to remember to broadcast that. And I hope to be one of the people to help broadcast your fight. But it's through these fights happening in different places that also amplify the fact that it's happening all over. People need to feel this tidal wave happening. Yes. And they're not only going to feel it from learning about it happening in another state, learn about it happening in another city, they're going to feel it by learning how there's a connection to what's happening in another state and another city to what's happening right there around them. And so that's part of the teaching. In your classes, in your meetings, talking about these things that are happening all over the world right now and their connection to it. When we teach, I got 2 seconds. When we teach about all of these amazing things, these reforms that happened in history, the way we're told to teach them that FDR brought the New Deal, which is bullshit. People were shutting down. There was decades of people shutting down mines, people occupying factories. On the West Coast, people shutting down the ports and being met with military, right? That's what brought the New Deal, right? That's the thing that brought the New Deal. Affirmative action didn't come because Richard Nixon got a good bone in his body. Right? It happen because they were afraid of a revolutionary movement building. And as I told you, we can't be afraid to talk about these radical politics. The world is already there. The people around us are already there. It's up to y'all to create, to tell people what's happening through not only your actions, but in the classroom, and then reflecting that back on your actions in the world. Thank you so much for having me.